Maroon 5 was never exactly in the know or the face of coolness, but there was a point in time where they were endearing and felt real. A time where Adam Levine's voice wasn't the pop equivalent of the annoying smoke detector you forgot to change the battery to. High-pitched, precise in its sound placement, but undeniably mechanic. It seems so far removed from what we now know them as. Adam Levine's vocal is instantly recognizable, but it's not nearly as emotive or colorful as it was in Maroon 5's early work, and the songs he sings have only become less personalized as time has progressed. Yet Maroon 5 has lasted for decades, but less as a band and more as an entity of pop trends, super producers, and material agreeable enough to be placed on various Spotify playlists and reaffirm their status as pop radio darlings. In a post-pandemic world that is demanding a little more from pop stars and the worlds they build to engage people, it seems that Maroon 5's dominance has finally come to a standstill. Coldplay is really the only other group of their ilk to sustain such widespread popularity, but Coldplay at their worst and best is still miles ahead of Maroon 5, and while they've also hit various artistic lows and divided fans, they've retained their prowess as a united front and a touring force. I say this to say, Maroon 5's success is genuinely impressive. For the last decade, they have been the ultimate floaters of pop, going wherever the trends take them, never actually having a defining artistic moment. In an era where our biggest stars in music are oversharing, it's remarkable that Maroon 5 has sustained just by being barely there. I can even say acts like Imagine Dragons and Pink that religiously stick to a formula have an identity and brand attached to that formula. You can't really say the same for Maroon 5. Also, do we actually know any of the other members of Maroon 5? No. Do we actually care? Also no. It is the Adam Levine show through and through. But just for a little bit of context, Adam Levine, Jesse Carmichael who does keyboards and backing vocals, Mickey Madden who did bass guitar, Ryan Dusick who did drums and backing vocals, and James Valentine who also did guitar were the original lineup. Prior to Maroon 5, they were a group called Kara's Flowers. Kara is a girl that the group had a crush on. The group was unsuccessful and eventually morphed into Maroon 5, and in 2002, they released what is widely regarded as their best album, which also happens to be their debut album, Songs About Jane. And it's easy to see why it is regarded as their best album. For one, it is an album, which sounds like a laughably low bar to clear, but their later albums don't really pass that bar. Yes, they are literally albums, but they have no continuity, no real themes, or even at times, it feels like they don't have reason. Songs About Jane is mostly in dedication to Levine's ex of the same name. The album is a mix of rock, funk, and pop. It has riffs, but it is also extremely hooky. You can easily tell why their songs came to be embraced. A song like This Love perfectly encapsulates their artistic strengths. There's a reason it has become arguably Maroon 5's most enduring hit. It's catchy as hell, Adam's voice sounds present and emotive, the lyrics are concise, it's pretty close to pop perfection. A lot of this album sounds like they were listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Think an even more pop-friendly version and mellow version of the Chili Peppers. Other highlights include Harder to Breathe and Sunday Morning. The album is pretty consistent all the way through sonically, lyrically, and in quality. The album became a sleeper hit. Their second album, It Won't Be Soon Before Long, released in 2007, saw them go in a more disco and dance influenced direction. And what I can say about this album is, it's not bad, but it doesn't have the highs of Songs About Jane. It certainly points to their future as pop radio mainstays though. Their 2010 album Hands All Over is officially where they morph into the Maroon 5 we know them as today, losing their footing as a band and becoming Maroon 5 the floaters of pop. It isn't all bad though. Misery is a highlight, which sounds like a natural progression of their sound. The problem with this album is that it underperformed compared to their previous two albums, so much so that they even considered recording a new album to offset the underperformance of the album. But a hit landed in their lap, one produced by Benny Blanco and Shellback, Pop Titans. Though there was some uncertainty, Moves Like Jagger was ultimately recorded and the song performed so well, it gave a lifeboat to both Maroon 5 and Christina Aguilera, who were experiencing commercial struggles at that point in time. And it did so well that Maroon 5 re-released their album and added Moves Like Jagger to it a year after release. A song that wasn't even originally on the album pretty much saved it. Moves Like Jagger is catchy, but I think Christina Aguilera is the real star of the show. It feels like it takes so long to get to her, but when it does, it feels so worth it. Never has her wailing sounded more appropriate and glorious. She gives the song a pulse. The song went #1 all around the globe. It's fully electronic and no bandmates played on it. After being backed into a corner with the underperformance of their album and having a mammoth hit with moves like Jagger, it paints a clearer picture of why Maroon 5 would redesign themselves in the mold they have. They wanted to be on top, and so they were. I'd be lying if I said their hit run was all bad though. I quite enjoy the melancholic payphone from their appropriately titled 2012 album Overexposed. The Wiz Khalifa verse is utterly unnecessary and bad. It might be the nostalgia talking, but I find the chorus melody to be pleasant. Love Somebody is also a nice homage to 80s synth pop, although Levine's voice tethers towards annoyance. Overexposed as a whole just sounds like manufactured pop machinery. V somehow ups this motif. People do not mention enough how Sugar is a ripoff of Katy Perry's Birthday. It's literally the exact same song. By the time 2017 came around with Red Pill Blues, Maroon 5 were top 40 mainstays, and they utilized their status to extend their relevancy with far more talented and interesting artists. Don't Wanna Know with Kendrick Lamar, What Lovers Do with SZA, and most famously Girls Like You with Cardi B. This is how Maroon 5 stayed afloat in a world dominated by trap beats and hip hop. They made an extremely watered down friendly version of that, and had guest appearances from rappers and singers give their songs some personality and edge. But if anything, I think this era signifies their complete ascension into nothingness. The type of pop that is made to be played in public spaces while you're running an errand, and not grab your attention or make you feel, but just exist to fill the silence. The album cover is also legitimately terrible. Shortly after this album, Maroon 5 headlined the halftime show with Travis Scott. It is widely regarded as one of the worst halftime shows ever, certainly the worst in recent history. Awkward, disjointed, and totally underwhelming. Doesn't show good showmanship skills. Their 2021 album Jordy continued on with the trap and hip hop inspiration, while their recent music All Night in a collaboration with Lisa of Blackpink fame called Priceless seems to follow in a dance pop direction. We are halfway through the 2020s decade, and I've seen so much great dance pop and disco inspired music. This just feels like featherweight, which is exactly what it is. Some will say Maroon 5 was never good, and to that I say, fair. I don't think Maroon 5, even at their best, was exceptionally strong or interesting, but they had heart and some good songs. It's interesting seeing the progression of an artist chip away at themselves, even if it leads to success. While they will always have kind of hits that everyone knows and sustain airplay, it feels nice to live in a world where their new releases aren't shoved down our throats. This one-man band has taken its toll on me.